It is also the little things that count. So this table here I built when we were in the process of acquiring the farm, but with permission of the previous owner. I built this over there at that tree so that we can have a celebratory lunch here at this place. And it's still there, and I got finally moved to this place. And this is the hot feature. So we have running water here, and I'm proud of my redneck invention, so that this thing is more or less stable. So that should serve us for some things when we want to wash something, because on the other side we do have the kitchen, so it is pretty easy to access. Of course it's all dirty, and when there is summer and it's actually very dry, which right now thankfully it is not, then there's dust everywhere, so you can't really keep anything clean. But this year we are quite lucky, and also today it has not rained. Tomorrow there should be rain, and the day after, but then the forecast says sunshine, so it looks like we might now be entering into summer, which is good. The grass is growing very well, and I believe in a week from now we should be able to graze. That would be very, very helpful. And more of the compound here. So these things here are growing. The okra is also coming up. It takes a little while because okra seems to be a heat-loving plant. And so there and here, there is okra. This is how it looks like. It will grow a lot taller, but it needs sun. And hopefully the sun will now come. Over here, the palovnia that resprouted is also making big leaves and growing. And we have a few sunflowers that self-seeded, like this guy here. And over there we have actual sunflowers. And they're looking pretty nice. These few yellow dots, they definitely make a difference. The tagasaste is also here. So let me look around. And here it is. It definitely has moisture, and it seemed like it were making some flowers, but those were just leaves of a different color. So I hope that this will somehow develop. I'm not really sure why it is looking the way it is looking. Might also be that it's not tagasaste, but we'll see. I keep this free so that it has all the space, and of course it gets all the moisture the same way as all the other plants around, so that should not be a problem. Then this I filled in several steps, and there's this rock wall around, and there's the vetiver, and of course we will plant more vetiver along this wall. This is more or less level, and we will seed here the sun hemp, sunflower and corn mix, just to have something that makes biomass, and then we will integrate the very same plants into that material. I don't want to call it soil because it came from down in the pond, and this is basically not what is supposed to be at the top. But we will make it organic material so that plants can grow. My plan is to have this whole square basically level, and of course there in the center there are a few rocks, because there is a big boulder underneath, so this basically marks don't plant anything here, there is a rock. And then I want to turn this into some sort of a market garden style. So some paths filled with wood chips. Question is where to get them from, but at some point we will then be able to chip our palovnia trees, at least the first year technical cut. That should give us some material. And then those beds, 60 I think centimeters wide, and in between a path with wood chips, so chips, bed chips like this, so that we have a vegetable garden here. And that will extend over there after the okra is done. I'm not really sure what we are going to do with the definitely more aggressive Bermuda grass, but I think we can keep it around the corner and keep it short, and who knows, I'm not really sure about this, what I'm now going to say, but maybe we can also have a path to walk on that is filled with the Bermuda grass, and we just have to maintain it, so cut the edges and all this. It might also be that we use fire to keep the beds clean. We will see. This is something new, but the idea is to have a vegetable garden, and we will see how to make this. And therefore also the trees here, because they should give some shade. And here, there we have some melon that is coming up. Also that one here. Angel inserted a few melon seeds along this edge, and now that I'm finishing filling this up, the melon should then grow over here and cover this area, because they make very long and long vines, and there are leaves, and then the melons come out of those, not of the leaves but of the vines. And when I'm fully done, also this hole also will be filled. And you can see there is a fence around this, and this will now be closed so that the dogs don't go in there. Not because I'm overly afraid that they will do some damage, but I don't want them to jump and play over there or even start to dig here and there. They do this. Not a big risk, but I just have this fence around so that nothing will happen. Here where the wall, because of some heavy rain, fell down, I removed the big boulders, and I have used them here to mark this driveway, so that when you come around the corner you will know where the road ends and where the garden begins. The rain will take care of this and driving over it. Eventually I want to have this as a green path with some special material, I don't know the name, but it's basically either made of plastic to reinforce the soil, or it's concrete blocks that have holes in them, and you can grow grass in the spaces between, and that might be the perfect job for the Bermuda grass. And then we have a green path here that we can still drive on. Of course, this material is not readily available in Spain, but it doesn't matter. I know where to get it from. In Germany they sell this in every place similar to the American Home Depot, and that's not a problem. I can just order it, even on Amazon, and it will show up here. Today Uncle also cleaned this up here. The idea is to use this as a storage space for bigger tools like that one, or some other heavier and bigger items. The idea is to block this so that when we do a health check with the remaining bovines, that they understand that you cannot go in this direction, because they always try to escape, and that is why we have all the black tarp that makes them less eager to go there where they cannot see. But here it is open, and so we use it for storage of big items that are also heavy, to make them understand, no, you cannot go in that direction. Our grasses are growing very good, so definitely we are almost ready with some more sunshine to graze. I will then show you how we are grazing, and I'll also show you the over the fence shot, because on the neighbor's side it's not the same, and I'm happy that our work is paying off. There's not yet nothing astonishing to report here, but for completeness sake I'll give you a quick shot of this. But it is growing, and when our power harrow is working, Angel gets some screws this afternoon, and tomorrow we can then probably try this. Then we can seed the remainder of this area here. That big thing is what we want to place in front of those fence elements here, so that the cows see that, and also this and those rolls of fencing material, they can also go there. Basically all kinds of things that we need in a while, but not right now, and that are big and heavy, and send the message, please don't go there. I just found the site of an accident. Apparently the pressure today from our heavy pump disconnected this from the valve, which sits over there, and water has been coming out and is wetting all the area down there. It's not a big problem, it's a good thing, but of course this should not stay the way it is. So let me try to fix this. So now it is fixed. Actually it's pretty hard to understand how this came loose, because you have to screw it on. That's a bit weird. But in any case, now this should work. This is for the sprinkler that sits over there at the entrance to the compound where we have the Sunham and Friends at the moment. So we open that and the sprinkler starts. It would be nice to have this connected over there, and eventually this will happen, but here there was a T-piece, and there was not a T-piece, there was a connection between two pieces of pipe and a coupler, and it was easier, instead of cutting the pipe, to just replace this with a T. Hence that a little bit awkward location. And this Paulovnia tomentosa here, that is the ornamental variant of Paulovnias, probably needs to have this circle around its base cleaned, because a lot of other things are growing. So probably tomorrow I take a tool and do this to give it some room, because I was told that they don't like to be in the middle of a lot of other things. Maybe there is a reason for it, maybe it's just a plantation thing, I'm not sure. But in any case, I give it some room, and after all this turns into biomass and it will feed the tree, so there's nothing wrong with cutting this down. And it's also interesting how much all the other things here grow in between the vetiver. This is now full of other plants. If you remember this, there was the vetiver and the poppies, or poppies, and nothing else, but now it is being overwhelmed with all the other things. But the vetiver stays on top, I think. There's nothing that we need to do. This is to stabilize this side of the platform there, so there is no need to maintain this in any way. Any root is good, because it helps to stabilize, and the vetiver has the biggest root system. And speaking from here about all the other things, so let me show you quickly how these Paulovnias look. There is a tiny one that is coming back. This one now looks pretty good, as it should. Of course it is also sprouting there at the bottom. Probably a good idea to go there and cut that, or let the animals in when they will do this. Because usually you are supposed to prune them, but they will never be cut. They are here for shade and for biomass, so it doesn't really matter. And I have to stress this, there are two management regimes for Paulovnia trees. So When they are in a place like this, they are there to stay. They are not for wood. So that means they can grow as they please. It doesn't really matter. Their presence matters, the shade, the leaves that fall to the ground. And if the tree becomes more like a shrub, that's fine also. There is no problem. They won't, but that would not be a problem. And then there are the others that we want to plant for wood, for example over there when we come to this, and they will be pruned. So there is a very strict management plan behind. At a given moment when it's ripe, I will share that, but there will be frequent activities to maintain the trees, and these are under a different management scheme, so don't get confused. We have the same tree and we manage them in two separate ways because the purpose is different. We also spoke today about a plan that before the week ends we want to have a door here. We have a door left from when we were purchasing a lot of material and making bigger plants. So there will be a 5-meter wide door, and it is one of those that are 2 meters high that we have facing the easement. We have the door. It's higher than we need here, but it doesn't matter. The purpose of this door is so that we can let animals in from this animal path that loops around the compound. And here where I'm standing, we want to have this pig quarantine shelter so that we get a permit to breed pigs. This is far out, so this is not now in a couple of months or this year. This is maybe in 3 or 4 years. But what we can do in the meantime is a little bit of infrastructure. When we dig somewhere because we want to have a pond, we can use the material as fill here and level this area. And to make this easier, we install the door because we have it. And then things are a lot easier because, well, and see, here there are the pieces already. So that is prepared. And that avoids anyone from opening this temporarily and then potentially not attaching the pieces correctly, and then we have a breach in this very important fence because the dogs need to be inside the compound and not go there. These guys will hunt sheep and we don't want that. And speaking about sheep, I left this door open today and also fenced in the palovnias there in the background, so that when the sheep go into this wannabe food forest, they will not nibble on those trees that are still small and have the leaves close to the ground. They have not found this. I see them there in the distance. Maybe you can also spot them now. Of course the image will be a little bit shaky, but at some point they will find this, and maybe we lock them up in there so that they do their job of maintaining this area. Because I don't want to use a machine to cut the material down. I rather pass this to the sheep's stomachs and get it pre-processed for decomposition. There's actually quite a few smaller things that we have been doing. So for example, we set these fence posts here, that one, and then there is another one there and the third one next to the blue barrel, and there's also the string so that we can move the fence, that fence, further in so that it is now attached to these thick fence posts, and that is then the boundary of the compound. And the area there is then the animal path, and there is then more space because that berm of the pond that we have there would be in the way and makes it difficult to pass here. But if we move the whole thing to here, then we have plenty of space, and we can also put another fence there so that the animals cannot go into that pond or do some other things, because there is the wannabe food forest and that should be protected. And here I had to start cutting away things around the young Pylovnia tree, because now all the other plants are definitely growing at a faster rate. And I need to avoid what happened before in the other experiment, that they are going to shade out the tree and the tree will then die. So I basically every day need to come here and watch. There I cut it free a little bit, but see over there I probably need to start cutting, because the tree is not growing while the sunflowers around are taking its place. And in there, same thing happens. Thankfully there is a tree that is on top of the game, which is good, but not all are this way. And here I'm basically done digging inside of the pond. I even was able to move that boulder. It suddenly came loose, but I'm not able to move it out. This is simply too heavy for that little backhoe. And there is this other one. And this is how it's going to look like, the bottom of this. There is no point in trying harder, because I can't reach that deep. So basically you see the scratch marks. So that is the furthest I get when I'm with the backhoe up here where I'm standing. And there is the very same thing. So that material I can't reach. But it doesn't matter. The main point is that we have a connection to the water table. And therefore this always stays filled. I dug a little bit around when I was in there. But of course I would have to go a lot deeper to really make this a well. But it's okay. It does not flow away, it stays. And whenever there's rainfall, then the loss is a lot slower. And that is the main point. And it's also nice to have. So what I'm going to do is remove as much as I can. Also put the machine up there and remove a little bit of this. I don't want to go a lot deeper there, just as deep as I can, which is not the same as this. So there will be two different depths here. This will be higher and this will be lower. And I do this just to get the material so that I can finish that garden area over there. And then that pond and the garden area are done. And then that's it. And there is a little bit more to do there where the Jeep is parked. I want to level this area, means raising it up, and the material will come from a future pig pond that is somewhere over there. So I need to drive back and forth a little bit, but that is how we get fill material, and I see I need to remove that. So I will now use that ramp and go in there and get this out, and also let the doggies out once I'm done securing all the places. So that should be it for today, and probably is a good idea to walk around every day or every couple of days and show you what we have achieved. Seems to be an interesting thing. I don't intend to fly a drone or put a camera on a tripod and film us working, because well, this is a little bit too much hassle. I'd rather tell you and show you what we have achieved. Seeing an excavator for 20 minutes is probably not the most important thing or the most interesting thing. So I hope, if you are of a different opinion, let me know. But I guess someone said this format he likes, so thanks, and I will continue to do it that way. So see you next time.